Keep it under 15 minutes. They practiced it a few times. Please don't ask any questions. I sent you an email link. If you've got questions, you can ask them anonymously and we'll answer them back as soon as possible. And everybody in the email can see what the questions and the answers are. So go ahead.
Okay, so here we have students outside using the mobile devices, learning how they normally would with Google. And then when they get in the building, they have the devices taken away, and they have to keep them in their lockers. And do some things. We have many pros and cons with mobile devices. Pros we have are organization, where the students can always have their notes with them when they need them. Hands-on learning, 21st century learning, where if a student wants to dive deeper into the topic that you're teaching, they can go in and research it more with apps or just Google alone. Assignments can be sent straight to the teacher instead of having to wait till the next day after you're done. You can just send it straight to the teacher. There's no sign up for labs, which instead of taking 15 minutes at the beginning of class and 5 at the end to put them away and take them out, you have instant access to all the features to the mobile devices. Students have 24/7 access to documents and 3G outside of the building. We have the inappropriate content, which the school filter does filter out. We also take out some of the expense of the school. Lost, stolen, damaged devices, which the students, teachers, parents, and administration worry about the most. Loss of focus, where a kid could be on Google learning more about the topic that you're teaching. Or you could just have some kid in the back playing a game, but that's just something the teacher will have to deal with themselves. Printing. Android does not have full printing capabilities of right now. iOS does print very well, so just something that we'll have to wait for.
Okay. Well, we found some apps that teachers could use in their classes. This one's called Studious. It's kind of like a planner, but except for with the planner, it's going to be in your locker or in your book bag. But students are always going to have their phones with them wherever they are. So they have, this sets reminders for you. Your phone will go off if you have homework due. You can set it to go off an hour early or 2 hours or whatever. You can also set your phone to go into airplane mode when you enter class. So it won't go off in the middle of the class, and I think teachers worry about that too. Solar Explorer is a 3D model of the solar system. It's free. Oh, man. Okay, well, it shows 3D model of the solar system. You can go to all the planets and then the moons of all those planets. And it shows information from years, day, compared to the Earth, the radius, mass, and gravity, and then a paragraph on everything. The NASA app, they show videos and news about all the missions they're doing, and you can go in and if you had to do a report on something, then if teachers thought it'd be a good idea to make a report about a NASA mission, the students can go in and find whatever topic they want, and it could take you to a different website, or it could load straight from the app. Some are different, but it'll tell you about a certain topic, so the students are going to have more information available to them than the teachers could provide themselves. This sounds off, so I think that would help a little bit. This is the dictionary app, and this is nice because if a teacher has 5 dictionaries per classroom, then it would be hard to pass around dictionaries and have them look up vocab on their own. Whereas if they all had a mobile device, they could maybe open the keyboard.
Turn off that Bluetooth keyboard.
That probably would help. Or I can just, nope, okay. Well, you can type in any word, and within a few seconds, you have any word in the English language available to you. So it's a lot easier to have vocab, and the teacher can look up the vocab themselves and email it to their students. So it's a lot easier to get a vocab list if you need to for English teachers.
Tyler, are all these apps available, like to any user?
Yeah.
As far as if you're Droid,
I
iPad?
think there's one
iTouch.
that I'll go over that's not available for iOS.
Okay.
This is the chemistry helper. It has a scientific, periodic table, and you can go into any element if you have to do a report on those, and it takes you to a page that has a ridiculous amount of information on that topic. So the teacher isn't going to know every number ever. So there's so much more information available to the students than there is the teachers can provide. U.S. history. You can look at important U.S. speeches, and here's the "Give me liberty, give me death" speech. We had to memorize the last paragraph from Mr. Narder's class. So if the student always has that with them, it's a lot easier to study than taking a whole book with them or with all their stuff they need for their class. It's right here along with all the other information for everything. If you have apps for science and history, there's a lot less to worry about and a lot more than all the books you have combined could provide. 50 states. It just shows information in all the states. There's admitted order, area, birth, capital, code, flower, when it joined the U.S., the highest elevation, the largest city, the largest population, and the entire population of the state. And it shows information on all the states. And I don't think that a book would even have this information. So it's so much easier to have this with you than to have to go home and do it yourself if you always have it wherever you're at. This is body, and this shows all the systems of the body. It's a 3D model, and here's vital organs. You can zoom in, and you can tap on a certain organ, and it tells you what it is. And if you need to search for a certain part of the body, you can look for lung, and it shows you where it's at. And that's not available on iOS. That's
That's the
that's
one.
only on Android.
Okay.
So is Solar Explorer is not available for iOS?
This is Formulas Lite, and this shows there's a scientific calculator that you can use to graph functions, 2D plane or a 3D plane. And you can type in any function or anything and it'll graph it for you. And so it gives the students an idea of what it looks like and what they need to do to get the answer. You can look at different subjects, math, physics, chemistry, and definitions. The physics page, you can look at one-dimensional motion, and this is what we're doing in physics right now. It shows all the equations we've been using and need to use. So instead of taking everything with you, like I said before, it's right here. So you can use it on all your homework, or if you're in the car, then it's easier to carry this with you since you're already going to have it than to carry your book and your binder and everything.
You got 5 minutes for questions, guys, if you have any other questions. You want quick?
I have a question. What's gonna happen if we have all of our students on this at the same time? Will it work?
Well, right now it won't because our bandwidth isn't enough, which is just. I
But
guess
I'm
how-
saying, if we do accept this, and we've got 400 students using their iPhone or whatever at the same time, will it work?
Right now, no. We found that out when we tested last week. We blew out the wireless access point up in 208. And luckily I attended a webinar and got a free enterprise access point from Meraki. I had to quickly set that up and it handled 25 iPods and probably could have handled more. They were cruising real easily on that access point. So we would have to upgrade the high school to about 4 more enterprise access points to do that. And that means to you is it's managed from one location. The student and teacher can walk around the whole high school without losing connectivity. It's one constant signal.
I think what Carla's point, though, that brings up that one of the reasons why I think it was good for us to do this, and I will just share that we had a small group meet and thought that this would be a good way to present some of the ideas to these guys that we could do with these mobile devices. But one of the points that I think should be brought up from this, is that this is not just today in this building that part of this process is supposed to take a look at. It's also to look at what's going to happen in the future and how we do that and have access at the new building. So yes, right now it could explode and blow up whatever Steve's gizmos are on the wall that happened and all that stuff. But if we like what's going on in these, and we bring and allow these kids to bring things to classrooms, then we need to account for that in the new building so that system and that situation doesn't happen.
Okay.
So that's part of the issue, and that's part of the questions that need to be brought up, and I think that's, you tied into a lot of what we're trying to get done.
And we
So that
can
does
do that here
help.
too. And those access points can follow us to the new building because you're not gonna pay me $65,000 to install your enterprise wireless access system. I already have the network wiring there. I can install them and set them up myself. So, in other words, other school districts, when they tell you about how much money they're paying, that's what they're paying those people to do that. And we can do that ourselves. I think it was $1,600 to bring us up to enterprise level, if me and my tech kids install the system.
The other thing that I wanted to hopefully try and get started, or at least accomplish with today for these young men, which I want to say thank you again for doing that, because it's not easy to stand up in front of teachers and adults and everybody to try and present your things to you, but you did a very nice job, so thank you. But one of the other goals and obstacles we have to overcome is comfort level from teachers. What's my comfort level and my familiarity with what's going on in the classroom with kids bringing devices? And that's the other thing that we have to take a look at and try and overcome. So they had just presented, a half a dozen, 8 to 10 different applications that can be used with mobile devices. We need to get teachers to buy into it and at least not buy in, but understand what can be done and the capabilities of mobile devices in the classroom. I mean, Steve is testing, different applications of different devices in the classrooms. What'd you get from BG? You got some iPads or iTouches?
iPod touches.
iPod Touch to try and use in the classroom. We want to get this out there because, again, we want to be ahead of the curve. We want to be proactive, not reactive. We know we go through the battle daily of kids having their phones in their pockets and using things. Why not use it to a positive nature instead of fighting the battle of you can't have it or it's not supposed to be in there? If we do it in a positive way and we show and understand what kids can do to use it, I think then we're going to overcome a lot of the other things that go along with kids having their phones.
I have one more question.
You go ahead.
What is
You got 30
basically,
seconds.
I know. What is basically the percentage of students who have these mobile devices that have the wireless capability? I mean, I don't have one that has the wireless capability. So how many
That's-
students actually have?
And that's one of the things we need to work on too, because free and appropriate education means free and appropriate for everybody. So if a classroom wants to use this, we can't deny kids to this because they don't have access to a smartphone. So we have to take a look at what that's going to impact us as a school district to get kids to have the capability of access that too.
How
So
many
that-
kids right now, percentage-wise,